24 Mal Gold, 14 Mal Silber, 14 Mal Bronze in 142 Turnieren, 32 Jahre alt und 31 groß. Please say hello to double Olympian Talita.
$100,000 prize purse and valuable Olympic. Olympic gold medalists are all in our lineup as Gstaad creates the perfect alpine backdrop and huge crowds for the latest stop of the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major Series. And joining myself, Nick Fellows, here in the commentary box is the Olympic champion from the 2000 Games, Dane Blanton, who will cast his expert eye over the first of the two semi-finals here in the Gstaad Village Centre Court. Brazil go against Canada. Larissa, Talita up against Pavan and Bansley. And of course the Brazilians are the favourites, one of the most experienced duos on the tour, with a list of accolades that is long as you can imagine, and also an unbeaten pathway through to these semi-finals. As we take a quick look at the win history of the Brazilians, Larissa and Talita, their pathway to this semi-final. Now the Canadians are one of the improving teams from the 2015 FIVB World Tour, but they battled hard to earn their spot in this semi-final in the top four for the second time in the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major Series. Well, let's bring in Dane Blanton, an Olympic champion, an athlete that has competed here in Gstaad. Quick look at the referees, Dane. This is a unique competition, great atmosphere, great crowd, beautiful backdrop, but when we get to the semi-finals, it's all about the skill of play.
Absolutely. This is a huge event. Remember, this is the third out of 4 major series events that will take place here in 2015. A lot of points on the line. All these teams trying to position themselves for the Rio Olympics in 2016. So a lot of points on the board.
Let's take a look at the lineup and the players. Not only the tallest lady in the competition, one of the tallest female FIVB beach players, Sarah Pavan, an incredibly tall blocker at 6'5". That's 1'96". She's athletic, a very talented indoor player, and a very impressive blocker. Now her teammate Heather Bansley, 27 years of age, out of Toronto. Again, a much improved player. And Heather is playing in her third FIVB World Tour final. They've already taken 2 silver medals this season, but it's a tough task. This is actually a repeat of the Porridge Major Final, where the Canadians lost to the Brazilians, Larissa and Talita. This is Larissa Franca Mestrini, 33 years of age, from Fortaleza, the top individual gold medal performer from the FIVB Tour. An amazing set of results, 52 times, 50 gold medals against her name on the FIVB World Tour, with over $1.5 million in prize money against her name. And this lady too has her fair share of accolades, with 24 gold medals. Talita, I suppose the only interesting statistic here, Dane, is it's one of the new teams of this fantastic Brazilian squad. Such strength and depth with all their players. But these two, Talita and Larissa, only been playing together since 2014. They've created this magic duo with that Olympic gold in mind that you were referring to.
Well, so much experience on the side of Larissa and Talita. They have the edge in terms of experience. You mentioned all the gold medals that have been won, 52 by Larissa, 26 by Talita, and no gold medals on the side of Canada, but they have been playing extremely well this season, and they're coming off a 5th place in the World Championships just a week ago. So look out for this Canadian team. The Canadian contingent has really come out strong in 2015, so they may give Brazil a run here in this semi-final.
Brazil have won the toss. They've given the Canadians the first serve of this women's semi-final, the first of 2 to be contested live here in Gstaad, Switzerland. And let's see if the Canadians can put the first point on the board. He's Talita, high up the net, powers that down. Beautiful spike from the Brazilian. Giving the Canadians the serve, gives the Brazilians the first side out of this semi-final match.
It's really great to see this matchup again. As you mentioned, it's a rematch of the Porridge Croatia final, where Brazil ended up taking home that championship. But I'll tell you what, for the Canadians to get a win, they have to do exactly what you just saw. They have to play composed, they have to play with patience, but most importantly, they have to play with consistency against this great Brazilian duo who does not make a lot of mistakes.
Here's Sarah Pavan with service now. Talita sets for Larissa. Up she goes high at the net. Oh, unlucky there for Pavan. Not quite effective with the block. Brazil take the lead.
Pavan's going to have to enforce her will at the net. Having that edge, that 6'5", as you mentioned, 196 centimeters tall. She has to dominate and win every opportunity at that net.
And there's the first example. Good play from Sarah Pavan to tie the scores at 2-all.
Sarah Pavan, one of the best players to play college volleyball in the history of the United States. She played at Nebraska, a 4-year All-American indoor, and one of the best professional international players up until switching to beach recently. She's only been on the beach for 3 seasons, so she's very raw.
Yeah.
She has a huge upside with her potential, and she's only getting better with each and every tournament.
It's a very good point that you made, Dane, and it's her athleticism that has impressed me most. For such a tall, long-levered athlete, she really does have great ability to move around the court. She'll need all of those skills with Larissa putting the serve into play for Brazil. Here's Bansley on the attack. Good save here. Now Larissa looks to finish it and give the Brazilians a 2-point advantage. Great play from the favourites.
Watching Larissa and Talita play in this event, they have been so composed, so relaxed in their execution of the shots. There you see Larissa spots the open court, and she makes it look really easy putting it in that corner.
Cross-court spike, well saved by Bansley, takes it on the second hit. Pavan, no choice. Here comes Larissa now. Cross-court, dips, drops right on the line. And it's an early 3-point lead advantage. Side switch at 7 points. The #1 seeds have started this semi with a very confident, strong rhythm.
Well, what Canada has to do is they have to execute. They had a few opportunities in that rally to score points and to get that ball to the sand, but they were unable to do so. Brazil ends up executing and getting the point.
Larissa serves Bansley again with a lovely deep serve. The ball dropping with every moment of the flight. 4 clear now, the Brazilians looking very strong in this opening set.
Yeah, that's what Larissa does so well, is place that jump serve right in the middle of the 2 Canadian players and makes them make a decision on whose ball it is.
Pavan sets for Bansley. At the net, Talita. No problem whatsoever. No room to move now for Canada. 5-point score run here for the Brazilians.
You can't let these Brazilians get on runs of points. As you mentioned, 5 points in a row right now for Brazil. Canada has to stop the bleeding, and they have to do it right now.
Little bit of help from the net to keep the ball up for the Brazilians. They come back. Oh, now it's 6 clear for Brazil. Well, we said earlier, this is a repeat of the first Swatch Major beach volleyball final in Porec, Croatia last month. But it didn't go quite as fast as this. Understandably, the Canadians, I'd say, have called a timeout there to try and stop this momentum of the Brazilian play day.
Yeah, you only get 1 timeout per set, and I believe that the Canadians made a good call right there. Calling a timeout, trying to break this rhythm right now. As you mentioned, 6 points in a row for the Brazilian duo. They're executing on every opportunity they get. The Canadians aren't necessarily playing poorly. They're not playing aggressive enough against this great Brazilian duo. You see, Brazil doesn't give up many points, so you have to pressure them and put them in a position where they're out of system, where they don't get a good pass and not a good attack. But the Canadians haven't been able to really rock the boat at all and make them have errant passes. The Brazilians are in complete control right now. They look relaxed and look very much in control.
Well, we're not quite at the 6,000 capacity of this Gstaad Village Stadium, but it's getting closer and closer. Of course, 2 semi-finals and the final all contested here today. That serve is too deep from Larissa, and, well, gives good reason for the Canadians to call that timeout. Hopefully that has stopped the momentum. They pull 1 point back. They're still trailing by 5. with Pavan with service. Left-handed float serve. Here's Talita on the attack for Brazil. Little tip ball. Bansley's too far back to pick that out of the sand. And that 6-point advantage returns to the Brazilians.
They're just playing so well. Look, when they get the opportunity, even Bansley in the angle waiting for that shot, Talita puts it short and makes the shot just too good.
Talita it is with service. Oh, it's a poor dig from Pavan. She'll be kicking herself for that mistake. 7 clear now, Brazil.
Yeah, uncharacteristic play right now from the Canadians. Remember, they went straight through pool, won their pool, had a bye to play in the second round of the elimination, and they have not lost in this tournament. But right now, they are really getting schooled by this Brazilian duo who is basically doing everything right now and executing on every single opportunity that the Canadians are giving them.
Total score reaches 14. Remember, every 7 points a side switch, just to make sure that there's no advantage with the light or the wind direction. It's perfect conditions here for beach volleyball in Gstaad today. Talita continues this impressive service run. Here's Pavan on the attack for Canada. She's beaten at the net again by Talita. Let's not forget, Talita's only 5'11" in comparison to the 6'5", or 1m96, 1m81. And there is no question that Talita is ruling the net here at this point in the match.
Well, she knows the tendency. You could see right away she knew exactly where Pavan was going to hit the ball, and she blocked it.
Better set from Bansley, and Pavan puts it away.
A little drop block right there by Talita. Remember, when the blocker's at the net and the set is about 3 or 4 feet off the net, the blocker will retreat off the net to try to get in a better defensive position, but Talita does not get to the spot in time.
27-year-old out of Toronto, Heather Bansley, serves for Canada. Nice deep jump serve. Here's Talita attacking for Brazil. Little tip ball. This time Pavan, I should say, takes full advantage of her height.
Finally, Sarah Pavan getting a block on the board. So that's 1 block for Sarah Pavan, 1 block for Talita right now. As I mentioned at the start of this set, Pavan's going to have a huge blocking match in order for Canada to win.
It's a nice set from Larissa for Talita. Bansley cannot hold on to the power of that spike, the speed of the ball, taking the Canadian right out of position.
Surprising that Bansley hasn't gotten more defensive digs. She's one of the best defenders I've ever seen on tour. A very quick athlete, just 27 years of age at 5'7". She is really solid. And how about that? An overpass by Pavan, and it ends up hitting the line. All Larissa can do is really watch and kind of smile, but there you don't expect that. The ball to come over on 1, but Pavan with a little smile herself, she'll take it.
A little bit of luck never harmed. 6-13, Canada with service. Here's Larissa on the attack for Brazil. Oh, tip ball. Well, there's Pavan saying to Heather, go, but Pavan should have really shut the light out and put the ball down there. 14-6 to Brazil, in control of this first set. Talita with service. Oh, almost. The most difficult of float serves. Not quite. Timeout.
Technical timeout when we reach 21 total points. Gives the players a little bit of a rest. So you want to use this strategically. You want to go into that technical timeout. Usually close. 12-9, 11-10. You don't want to be down 14-17 as the Canadians are right now. So they're going to have to strategize. I think they need to turn up the dial on their serving, put more pressure on the Brazilians right now. The Brazilians are just, you can see it, they're too comfortable. They're just passing the ball, they're seeing the court so well, and that's the way they play. Remember, this team of Talita and Larissa had won 6 tournaments in a row. Then they took off Norway and Stavanger due to a possible leg injury from Talita. They had to sit that one out. They came back and they got a 9th in St. Petersburg, a 9th in the World Championships, which had to be disappointing for them. But I'm being told that they're back to 100%, so we're getting to see their best here in Gstaad, and they're looking really good.
Well, you've got to look at the stats, haven't you? Talita is playing her 69th FIVB World Tour Final for 95th for Larissa. Here's Heather Bansley for Canada with service. Well, our expert analyst has called it perfectly. It's all down to the serve from Canada, and that is a perfect serve from Bansley, right to the feet of the Brazilian.
Yeah, great float serve. The bottom drops out of it. Talita cannot handle it, shanks it to the left, unplayable.
That's a better save from Bansley. The set from Pavan. Bansley tries to finish it. Larissa sets for Talita. Up she goes. Cross court. Lovely little bit of finesse. Touch shot. Spots the defender in the middle of the court and puts it right down below the net. Wonderful play.
Really solid defense by Bansley, but unfortunately for her, she gets the great dig, but then she can't put it away. And what happens? The Brazilians get another opportunity. They execute.
Oh, a service way too deep from Larissa. I know you're a fan of the aggressive service, Dane, and I think Brazil can afford to drop a few here. Canada certainly cannot. Still trailing by 6. Sarah Pavan puts the ball into play. Left-hand float serve. Larissa, well spotted by Bansley. Here's the set, now the attack for Canada. Little help from the tape. Just confuses the Brazilians, and they're down to just 5 off the Brazilians.
They're starting to turn up their game. They're serving a little tougher, and more importantly, they're winning some rallies. It's one thing to dig the ball in the backcourt. It's an entire different thing to put that ball away. Larissa very good at doing it, and Bansley getting better as this match progresses.
Perfect shot from Talita. 32 years of age from Rio de Janeiro. There's a nice set from her teammate Larissa. Fantastic angle on the ball. Talita to serve. 16-10, the advantage for the Brazilians. Bansley sets for Sarah Pavan. She's a little out of position. A little help from the net. Oh, what a save! What a point for the Brazilians.
How about that? Both Brazilians going for this ball. Talita gets it up. Larissa has to crawl on her knees to set that ball, and then the deep poke shot over the 6'5" Bansley, and Talita just hits the line.
She enjoyed that one as much as we did. Brazil still on the attack here. Pavan up high at the net with that left hand. Well spotted by Larissa. Can she now finish it? Oh, it's still up. The ball is still good. Talita, Bansley is not even in the play here. She finally comes to the front. Oh, what a battle at the net from the two blockers. But Brazil come out on top and go 8 clear.
Well, see, that can't happen if you're Canada. You block the ball twice. Look at this big block by Sarah Pavan, the great cover by Talita, and then what happens? Pavan's up again and blocks it, but those don't count in the blocking category because they're not going down for a point. But then Talita, the shorter blocker of the two, makes it happen and gets the stuff block for the stat and the point.
Oh, good work. Great movement on the court from Talita. But finally, Pavan shuts out the light, blocks that ball beautifully.
That's what has to happen. Pavan has to block that ball, but it can't be covered. It has to be a stuff block. It has to get to the sand. The Brazilians, you got to give them a lot of credit, covering themselves on the block. That is huge. That can be a huge turning point when a blocker is blocking the ball, but then the other team is covering it.
Good deep serve from Bansley. Larissa. Oh, another good save. Pavan sets for her teammate Heather Bansley. Right down the middle. Splits the two Brazilian players, and that's a crucial point for Canada to stay in this first set. Now trailing by 6.
That was beautiful. What Bansley did there, she controls it. Look how perfect that dig is. And then the nice set by Pavan, and of course, Bansley with the opportunity and gets it to the sand. That's what has to happen more times for Canada to get back in this thing.
Larissa sets it up for Talita. Lovely poke ball, but Bansley is there. Pavan sets for her teammates. Goes cross court. Oh, just a little too much aggression. 19-12. Brazil back with service. Canada must side out here to stay in this first set.
Love Bansley's defense. She's all over the court, getting that ball up in the air. Unfortunately for her, she couldn't put that one to the sand.
Larissa serves for Brazil. She serves Bansley. And Bansley puts it away. Well, she may be the smallest player on the court, but she certainly makes up for the lack of height with speed of movement, skill. Such a dynamic player, Heather Bansley. And here's her teammate, Sarah Pavan, with service. Serving to try and stay in this first set, Canada. Larissa judged that perfectly.
Just too easy right there. When she passes the ball well, Larissa makes it look so easy. Such a legend of the game, such experience, such a high volleyball IQ.
Talita with service for Brazil. It's the first set point. Serves Pavan. A little bit of confusion from the Canadians here. Can Talita finish it? Oh, not a very good dig from Pavan. And Brazil take the first set 21-13. It's the perfect start for Larissa and Talita. They got the better of the Canadians in the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major Series opener in Porec, and they're in control here in round 3 in Gstaad, Switzerland.
Well, absolutely in control. Look at this serve right now. Nice little float serve. It goes to Pavan. Pavan goes back around. There's the back set, and she's unable to put it away. Talita reads it perfectly, and then Talita making it look easy, giving it to Pavan, and that ball should have been dug. Look, that's an easy play right there. She needs to use both hands, pass that ball with 2 hands, control it, and then put it away. But instead of making the play, it looks like an easy play for Brazil, and they absolutely roll through the first set. 21-13 is a bit of a smashdown. That's what we would call it in beach volleyball, and the Canadians going to have to turn some things around, take some more risks, really try to get these Brazilians out of sync, because Brazil, I mean, right now, they're making it look way too easy. It looks like, you know, just a day of training for the Brazilians right now, almost as if they haven't even broken a sweat.
That's good words, Dane, and you're absolutely right. The question now is, do this relatively young and inexperienced Canadian duo have the answers for the #1 seeds? Larissa and Talita. The Brazilians kickstart the second set with service. Sarah Pavan's at the net with that left-hand spike, and she'll need a few more of those. Of course, Canada must win this second set to stay in the match and to book themselves a shot in the last competition of the day for the women's tournament. Here later this afternoon in Gstaad, there's Heather Bansley with serve for Canada. Now that's a good save from Bansley. Can she now finish it? Oh, the tape of the net doesn't help her. Talita up at the net against Pavan. And again, Talita gets the better of the tall Sarah Pavan.
Well, see, what's happening is it's not Canada playing poorly. They're just not putting the ball away. Look at that ball, clips the top of the net. Brazil gets a free ball opportunity. And then right here, when Brazil gets another opportunity, they put it to the sand. Canada is keeping the ball in play. They're just not executing and terminating the rallies as Brazil is.
Talita with service for Brazil. Serves to Pavan. Bansley sets now for Sarah Pavan with that left hand again. They're starting to read that shot, the Brazilians. They need to mix it up a little more here. Good play at the net from both teams. Larissa on the attack now for Brazil.
Another cover.
Oh, here's Bansley. Poke ball, not quite there. Talita sets for Larissa.
See, there it is. There's just opportunities. Canada's keeping the ball in play. They're just not finishing rallies. And that block was going to be covered again, regardless of Pavan netting. Brazil was going to have another opportunity. Here you see him come in. Here's the block, but it's given basically right back to them, and a net violation is called. So Pavan's got to really focus on blocking that ball aggressive and to the sand, because just blocking it right back to the Brazilians, giving another opportunity, just isn't working.
Talita with service. Bansley sets for Sarah Pavan. Again with that left hand, that's a better strike from the Canadian to level the scores at 2-all.
That's what you want to see out of Pavan, placing that ball to the right spot. It's interesting, she doesn't have a lot of power, but she hits at such a high trajectory. And there's an ace serve, so I think Talita is their target. If you want to get some ace serves, maybe we saw her shank one to the left out of play in the last set, or earlier in this set, and they have really confused Talita a little bit. So I would see there's another shank to the left.
Well, what a save from Larissa. Pavan finishes it off nicely. And some good service skills from the tall player, Sarah Pavan. This is a spectacular dig and save from Larissa. But Pavan's got it covered.
Yeah, Larissa took a little bit too much of a risk trying to put that ball on top of the net, with Pavan being 196 centimeters, 6'5". She takes advantage and gets that ball down to the ground. But if I'm Canada, I continue to serve Talita, put the pressure on her.
Let's not forget that the Brazilians have yet to drop a serve in this competition. And Canada could be the first team here. And it will be interesting to see whether that stops the momentum and the rhythm of this Brazilian #1 seed. There's a good run of points here for the Canadians as we take the side switch at 7 points. And as you said earlier, Dane, Pavan taking full advantage of those long levered arms and that height benefit over her opponent, Talita. Pavan continues with this impressive service run. Larissa sets for Talita of Brazil. Off the fingertips, Bansley cannot get there. Side out Brazil, 3-5.
Sarah Pavan starting to heat up. 3 blocks on the day so far. She's going to have to continue to get blocks. Look how big her block is. She gets a touch there, but Talita putting that ball in the optimum position.
Larissa with the service. Oh, not the best of sets, but Canada do well to get themselves out of trouble and back into position. Pavan sets for Bansley. Cross court, fires it right at the body of Larissa.
Just a beautiful hit by Bansley, making the defensive play and then targeting Larissa, who is pretty crafty herself in making digs, but Bansley putting too much heat on that hit.
Here's Heather Bansley with serve. Good jump serve there from the Canadian. Nipply little tip ball, though, from Talita. Yeah, she enjoyed that. Every now and again you see glimpses of the Brazilians' brilliance and such a wide repertoire of beach skills.
The Brazilians were in trouble right there, and that poke shot got them out of trouble. Canada has to be kicking themselves. That was an opportunity to score yet another point.
Good point, Dane. Now, here's Talita with service. Serving Pavan. Here's Pavan on the attack now for Canada. Oh, another great dig from Larissa, and finds a sensational angle to earn the point for Brazil.
Well, Nick, you see the difference. When the Brazilians make the dig, they make it count with a great shot to put that ball away. A great dig without a put away is worthless. You have to have both components to be successful.
Talita looking to level the scores here. Remember, Brazil have already won the first set in what felt like record time. Pavan attacks for Canada. Well read.
Nice hit right there, but once again you see Pavan kind of placing the ball. Not a lot of power, not a lot of authority, not a lot of aggression. Remember, she's only played for 3 seasons, so she's still getting better each and every time. I think the stronger she gets, the more of a force she's going to be.
Oh, that looks a little too long. 8-5. Now let's take you back to the Porridge final, the opening event of the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major Series. The Canadians took the Brazilians 2-3 sets, Dane, there. It was a 46-minute match. They lost the first, won the second, and only just lost the third. So this is starting to repeat itself in a very similar way to that Porridge Major.
Well, you're absolutely right. Usually Canada starts to heat up a little bit later against this Brazilian team, and if they can pull off this second set and force a third, it's anyone's game. And when you have a player like Pavan at the net, anything is possible.
So Pavan sets the ball for Bansley. Off the fingertips of Talita. It's another great save from Larissa, but she's still on the sand for the second one.
Well, Larissa's doing a good job at playing defense. After this ball's deflected, she has to try to set up Talita. She's just being a little too aggressive, putting that ball 50-50 on the net. And who's going to win that? The 6'5" Pavan almost every time. So Larissa needs to take just a little bit off of that set.
And here's the 1.70 meter Heather Bansley with service. Larissa sets up Talita once again. Oh, and Bansley just caught out of position there, moving forwards towards the net as Talita plays the spike.
Even though Canada has found a little bit of a crack, I guess you'd say, in the armor, serving Talita, getting some points, you got to remember in 2014, Talita voted best offensive player, and her partner Larissa best setter. So it's a difficult combination to set into.
Oh, good shot from Pavan to keep the Canadian advantage at 10-7. Dane, those points that you make about the players being voted best blockers, best defenders, it's made by the other players. I think it's important that everybody knows it's not like a telephone vote or a postal vote. The players say you're the best, the people who you've been up against all season long.
Yeah, voted by your peers, so it makes it even more impressive when you win these awards, because you're right. Basically, the experts are voting on them. Your opponent's on the other side of the net. And Larissa, we've mentioned it before, an 8-time best setter on the FIVB World Tour. Just incredible versatility in hands. We know how great a defender Larissa is, and an offensive player. That's why she's a legend of the sport.
And Larissa it is with service. Now here's Canada on the attack with Bansley. On the defense, Talita up at the net against Pavan, and she gets the angle just right. Great athleticism to avoid touching the net there as well from Talita.
Remember, Canada had a run of points going. They had a lead. Now it's a matter of trying to expand that lead, but Brazil right now seems to be making a move.
Oh, unlucky there for Talita. Great spike from Bansley. She's only 5'7", remember. 1m70. Easily the shortest or smallest player on the court. So puts a smile on her face every time she gets the better of Talita at the net. And it is Bansley with service. Canada 2 clear of Brazil. Oh, that's a little bit of a wild one. And at 21 points, it's a technical timeout. A break for both the players, evenly matched in this second set, but the pressure still on Canada. They have to win it to stay in this semi-final.
Well, I like what I saw on that last play. Yeah, everyone saw the ball get served out down the line, but what Larissa's doing is she has taken a step over towards her partner Talita to make it more difficult for the Canadians to serve Talita. So by moving over to the middle of the court, Larissa's basically giving that whole line away, and that's what the Canadians just tried to serve it down the line for Larissa. So the veteran Larissa making some interesting decisions on serve-receive to try to relieve the pressure of the Canadians serving Talita each and every time. Such an amazing event here. As a player, when I used to play here, I mean, just a favorite of the players, the fans, the history in the making. I mean, 16 years in the making, and this place will be rocking as it is right now. But when the finals come on, and you couldn't ask for any better weather. Nick, you said it early on. 75, 80 degrees, nice little breeze, clear skies. I mean, it's a dream if you're a beach volleyball player and fan.
And can Brazil continue to live their dream and their sensational 2015 season? Talita with service back from injury, missing Stavanger. Oh, Bansley again, just a slight mistiming of the shot, puts the ball out of play and allows the Brazilians to tie the scores.
Brazil putting a lot of pressure on Bansley because the set wasn't perfect. They drop off the net. She has to try to make the shot even better. That time she errs.
32-year-old Brazilian serves again here, straight to the net. Oh, and she doesn't quite read it. Brazil now trailing by 1 to Canada. That was a very important score for the Canadians.
It really was, but you're seeing Brazil really hone in on their strategy. Serving, look at Talita, drop off the net, get in position. She's right there. She just doesn't execute this time.
Good service from Pavan.
Wow, that ball looked like it was tailing way out of bounds. It rose at the last minute at Larissa, so give a lot of credit to Pavan right there, going at Larissa and scoring.
And this is what you said, Dane. This is the way the Canadians need to play, a little more aggressively. So the Brazilian side out in that one, but they've never beaten the Brazilian duo of Larissa and Talita on the 2015 circuit. They've never beaten them before in their careers to date, obviously because the Brazilians only joined up in 2014. And that just plays in the back of any athlete's mind. Good work from the Canadians to extend their lead by 2. Great shot by Heather Bansley. Such an explosive player.
Yeah, she really is. She's great to watch. She has all the skills you want in a beach volleyball player. Great defense, great setting. She moves well, got a great arm in terms of hitting.
Oh, lovely shot from Larissa.
So difficult to get over Pavan because she is so tall. Look at Larissa, has to come in. She decides to shoot, but look how high the trajectory of that shot has to be to clear Pavan.
Talita Antunes with the service for Brazil. Goes deep to Bansley. Pavan sets for Bansley. Up at the net.
Ball never cleared the net there. Bansley tried to go down the line. The ball hit the top of the tape, but the net ricocheted right back on the Canadian side. So point for Brazil.
Side switch. The Brazilians with the sun behind them. Canada now looking into the sunshine. Talita with service. She looks to be serving to Bansley every time here. Pavan with the set. Here's Larissa now on the attack for Brazil. Over the top of Pavan. She's got to stop those shots, the tall Canadian, if they're to stay in this second set.
Well, it's a really high shot, and Pavan's doing a good job of making her go high over her and getting the touch. That allows Bansley time to get to the ball, but that time just out of reach. And Nick, you know what time it is right now. The Canadians call a timeout, but I say it all the time. What do the Brazilians have that the Canadians don't?
This ability to change up a gear at the crucial point in the match.
Switching gears right here about the 15 point. They finally take the lead, and let's see if they will start to expand upon that. That's what you see great teams do. They start to create separation at the end of the match. I saw Carrie Walsh-Jennings and Misty May do it for years. They would play equal till about 15 points, then they would just take off. And that's what we're seeing out of some of these great Brazilian duos, especially Larissa and Talita.
Now they're showing their experience, they're showing their class. Talita, 24 gold medals against her name on the FIVB World Tour. Larissa, 52. I mean, these are remarkable statistics. So between the two of them, they have 164 gold medal performances on the FIVB World Tour. No wonder the Brazilian Federation put them together. These could be the future Olympic champions of 2016. Now, can Bansley keep Canada in this match? That's a good shot, making sure that that timeout works to their advantage, stopping the momentum of the Brazilians. Now, Canada must find their own momentum, Dave.
You're absolutely right. Coming out of the timeout, that's exactly how Canada wanted to execute. Now they have to continue to roll.
Pavan with the left-handed drop serve. Larissa for Brazil, sets for her teammate Talita. Nice shot, read well by Bansley. Pavan sets for Bansley. Up she goes, and a lovely right-hand spike, cross-court to the far corner, and Canada take the lead back.
So maybe Canada heard us when we said they didn't have that ability to switch into that next gear and finish the set. Maybe they step up here and start to change their fate.
They've taken the Brazilians to 3 sets before. There's no reason why they can't do it again here today. Oh, Brazil just caught a little out of position. Bansley takes it on the second attack hit. Oh, a rather unorthodox play from Brazil, but a point is a point, and a valuable one for Larissa and Talita.
Well, look what happens on this play. Larissa ends up ending the rally, but the tough serve by the Canadians to Talita. She's had trouble passing. Canada had an opportunity, but Larissa made a great defensive play and put it away.
Larissa with service for Brazil. Here's Sarah Pavan now with that left-hand spike. Oh, and that is a costly error.
Tough pass by Pavan, but Bansley erases the passing error by putting the ball in perfect position, but the 6'5" Pavan cannot clear the net.
Canada must keep their composure and cool here. And again, it's not the best received from Pavan. Here she is on the attack. Oh! Oh, and that is 2 points in succession. 2 errors from Pavan, frustrating the tall Canadian player, delighting the Brazilians. Now 2 clear.
Yeah, well, on that one, Talita did a fake block. She's at the net. She decides to drop. Pavan sees her in her peripheral vision, distracts her, and she can't clear the net.
Pavan tries again. Well read by Talita. Can Talita finish it? Bansley now attacking for Canada. Talita sets for Larissa. Off the fingertips of Pavan. Pavan now has to take on the second hit. Oh, great save from Talita. And she's there. What a spectacular rally. Great play from Canada and Brazil. But Brazil are now 3 clear and surely have this match within their sights.
Yeah, they're just absolutely outplaying the Canadians right now. The Canadians have opportunities here. Instead of putting that ball away, it's kind of fluffed over the net. The Brazilians eat it up, and then Talita goes for that deep corner, and you see the emotion. She's starting to feel it. She now understands they are just a couple points away from making it to the final.
You can see the emotion on the face of Talita now. Let's see if they can finish it up and finish it up quickly. Larissa with service for Brazil. Bansley, overhead set for Pavan. Lovely shot. Can they keep it alive here? 17-19. Off by 2 Canada. Remember, the Brazilians, if you look on the left of your screens, have already easily won the first set. Canada have to battle here to take it to 3. Heather Bansley with service. Serves deep to Talita. Larissa sets for her teammate. Little poke ball is enough to give Brazil match point here in the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major of Gstaad in Switzerland.
Nice pass that time, good set, and then an easy poke shot by Talita right over Pavan, seeing the court so well.
Talita with service for Brazil. Nice float jump serve. Pavan. It's all over. Larissa and Talita are through to the final of the Gstaad Swatch Beach Volleyball Major here, high up in the Swiss Alps. Another electrifying performance. Unable to play in our last round, our last major in Stavanger due to injury. Starting to get back to full fitness. And this is a Brazilian duo on fire. And I have to say, Dane, will take some beating later today here in Gstaad.
Just an impressive win by the Brazilians. And what did we note? At 15-all, Brazil runs off 6 points to Canada's 2. So that next gear that Brazil exhibits right there just was too much for Canada. Here we see the last point, the drop off the net by Talita. She was doing that drop block all day. Then she comes in with a 50-50 set on top of the net by Larissa, and it's Talita who just bangs that ball cross court to seal the victory.
Well, the gold medalists from the first major in Porec go through to the final for a potential second in the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major Series. 21-13, 21-17, 2-0 for the Brazilians, Larissa and Talita. Very impressive match. Good play from Canada. They continue to improve. They continue to grow in confidence. Just coming up against the top seeds, the #1 seeds in their semi-final, and of course beaten by the Brazilians for the 3rd time this season. But don't write off Sarah Pavan and Heather Bansley just yet on the 2015 FIVB World Tour. I think it's only a matter of time before a gold medal will come the Canadians' way. Now we are just a few moments away, with midday being the start time for our second semi-final. But before then, let's have a chat with Julius Brink and the winners of this semi-final, Larissa and Talita. Julius, it's down to you on centre court.
Talita, let's talk about that match. I mean, it was fabulous. It was nice. First semi-final women's competition. What must happen to beat you? I mean, it's so consequent how you play. Tell us, what's your secret?
Hi, everybody. I think we have played together again. Happy. The last time that we talked in Porec, we said it when we played together. Happy. and we can play like this. So strong, so strong.
Yeah, it's a great teamwork of you. Is there any secret you can tell us, or would you just keep it for yourself?
There is no secret. There is just I'm happy with Larissa, and then she's happy with me. When we play together, that is the secret.
I love Gstaad. Thank you a lot for all. You have time to keep energy for us. Thank you.
Very lovely words.
Well, certainly enjoying their play here. Jane, a quick question from you here. What do they do now between the end of this semi and the start of their final? Is there warm-up, or is it just a rest period between now and the big game of the day?
Well, right now they're going to get some rest, they're going to get some food, they're going to relax, maybe get their feet up to really rest and try to figure out who their next opponent would be. As we take a look at the stat category, blocks were about even at 4 each, aces 2 to 3, Canada having the edge when they went after Talita. But I'll tell you what, execution, which doesn't show up on that stat chart, the Brazilians won in executing the points. But they're going to take a rest right now, trying to figure out who their next opponent is. Of course, Kerry Walsh Jennings and April Ross going up against Tayana and Fernanda in the next semifinal. And of course, there's always concern about Kerry Walsh dislocating that shoulder yesterday. Will she play today? Will she not play? So the Brazilians right now are thinking to themselves, how do we prepare for both teams? But I would imagine they are getting ready to face another Brazilian duo, because Kerry Walsh Jennings not being 100% in this next semifinal. Everybody waiting to see how she comes out and how she's going to be able to perform.
And of course, if it does become an all-Brazilian final, believe you me, it will be an absolute thriller, because each and every one of those Brazilian players is vying for that Olympic spot. Let's take a look at the best of the action from this first semi-final.
Take your time, not alone. Feel your sky. It doesn't mean anything. Come with me. It's our time to shine. Holding tight, then letting go. All your life, not afraid of heights. We're wide awake, we'll never break. We'll reach for the sky. It doesn't mean anything. Come with me. It's our time to shine.
What a great start to late